Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a really delicious green salsa. We're going to make it in the molcajete, which is a stone kind of a dish. It's like a mortar and pestle in English, but they use it to grind all different kinds of herbs and delicious foods. And the salsa that comes out of it is unbelievable. So here's a molcajete. This is the tejolote, and you just grind. We'll get to that in a little while. I just wanted to show it to you before we put food inside. We're going to grill the tomatillos and all the different ingredients, and then we're going to mash them up in here. So I'll be right back. All right, so these are the ingredients you're going to need for this molcajete green salsa. You need to find some tomatillos. This is the tomatillo you may not have seen before. It's just it's covered with a husk, a dry husk, and inside is this adorable little green tomato. You want to look for the ones that are kind of a lime green, and you want them to be nice and firm. You don't want them to be squishy. And we're going to clean, it has a little bit of a sticky feel when you first take the husk off, so we're going to wash those up first in cold water to get the sticky off. In addition to the tomatillos, this one we're going to make kind of a spicy one. If you don't want so much spice, just use fewer chilies. But we love the spice, and especially in this recipe. So we're going to use 3 tomatillos and 3 of the chili serrano. Sometimes if you see this one has different colors in it, sometimes those are a little bit hotter, so I like to find those when I can. We love garlic, and it's really good for you, so we're going to use 2 cloves of garlic with just maybe a quarter of a medium onion or even less. This is cilantro, which is it looks very similar to Italian parsley, flat parsley. If you have any trouble in the grocery store figuring out which is which, just smell it because it has a really beautiful smell. And then I use Himalayan salt, but you can use any kind of salt. So hang on for a minute. We'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to clean up these tomatillos. Okay, as you can see, I have the comal or the grill pan or whatever you want to call it. You can also use a wrought iron pan if you don't have a comal or a grilling pan, but you can see that it's hot. Maybe put it around medium heat, and we're going to start grilling. So you want, notice I'm not using any kind of oil or anything. You just put it right on the grill, and we're going to grill it on all sides. I want to show you my beautiful dishes from Talavera dishes from Dolores Hidalgo. We have them all over the house because they're beautiful. I also use keep the stem on. We can remove the stem after it's grilled. Some people don't grill the onion, but I do because I love the taste. So you can either way. And so it's going to take probably 10 or 15 minutes to grill these. We're going to keep turning them as they get done. If you try to turn them too soon, they're going to stick to the pan because there's no oil or anything. But when they get to the right temperature, you can just kind of keep grilling and turn them over. And then we'll show you the next step in a few minutes. Okay, you can see there I've turned them. They're starting to cook on each side. Every once in a while these things keep jumping. You may think they're ghosts, but it's just the heat. This guy's getting started. So I'm just going to keep turning it and each one of the vegetables until they get cooked on all sides. As you can see, they're starting to get nicely cooked. To kind of speed it up, I was covering it with a tin foil. Just helps to cook it inside. Then I'm going to transfer it to a glass bowl as each one of them gets cooked. Some people like to put it in a baggie at this point, but I really would prefer not to use plastic when I don't have to. So I'm going to put it in this glass bowl, each one as they get cooked. And then we'll just continue cooking. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, one thing I wanted to show you, as the tomatillos are going to be the last thing that's finished cooking, but do you see this, the color has changed from the lime green to almost a yellowish? That's when you know they're really pretty well cooked. So you want them to be like that on all sides if possible. This one is still pretty green on that side. But the others I'm going to put in this thing they continue cooking in the, when they're covered either in a baggie or in the glass jar. So they'll soften up a little bit in there, and then we'll be ready to put it in the molcajete. Okay, now comes the exciting part. We're at the molcajete. Remember, this is called a tejolote. And we're going to start with the a little bit of salt in the bottom and the garlic. So you can see this is how it looks. You can see they're really squishy now because they continued to heat in this glass container, or if you want to use a baggie. But we're going to start crushing the garlic first in the salt. Just kind of crush it and make it into a paste. See how easy that is because they're really well cooked. And then we're going to take the stems off those chilies. And we're going to do the chilies next. And these are also nice and well cooked, so they should be easy to grind. I like to leave the seeds in it. Some people take the seeds out, but the seeds is where the heat is. So if you're looking for the heat, you want to keep the seeds in there. Now this one is going to be pretty spicy. The way I kind of think of it is, for a pretty spicy one, because I have a bunch of Mexicans in my group, if I use 3 tomatillos, I use 3 serrano chilies, at least. Maybe if you want to do this with 3 tomatillos, you'd maybe just use 1 if you wanted a kind of a mild salsa. But you have to play with it a little bit. Alright, and then the onions. These are really very easy to crush if they're well cooked. It's a little tricky if they're not. If you don't have a molcajete, you can also just use a blender. And I'm going to show you that at the end. Alright, these onions are a little tricky. Alright, I'm going to throw the tomatillos in and continue with the onion. Oh, this is starting to smell so delicious in here. I don't want it to jump up at me. Now to use the cilantro, we love a lot of cilantro, but probably for this I'm probably going to use maybe 1/3 of a bunch. If you're just getting used to cilantro, maybe you just use 1/4 or even a few sprigs. But cilantro is really very healthy for you. It's loaded with all kinds of vitamins, but it's also really good for your stomach if you have any kind of digestion issues, or okay, getting a good workout here. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to cut up that cilantro. Okay, I've been chopping up the cilantro. You can see you kind of want it pretty finely chopped. Look at how beautiful this salsa looks in the molcajete. It's actually called salsa molcajeteado or salsa in the molcajete. Just so you know, if you're in Mexico and you hear them talking. All right, so we're gonna just throw that in, mix it up, and we're gonna take a little taste here. Oh, look how beautiful that looks. Beautiful color, beautiful textures, and I know it's gonna be beautiful spice. Now, if you want, if you're serving it to company or whatever, you could put a little piece of avocado or sprig of cilantro or something. Makes it a little more festive. So let me give it a try here. I know this is going to be spicy for my taste, so I'm going to go careful. And I was right, it is really hot, but wow, is that delicious. You know, it just has a very special, earthy, delicious flavor when you make it in the molcajete. But if you don't have a molcajete, you actually can just put the same ingredients after it's on the grill, same ingredients into the blender, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, when you finish it, you give it a taste. If there's not enough salt, you can always add a little bit more. But for those of you that don't have a molcajete yet, you can also do it right in the blender. What you want to do is kind of pulse it. You don't want to completely blend it. Just want to kind of pulse until it gets to a kind of chunky consistency, and then it's going to look a lot like it does in the molcajete. Another idea is if you end up blending it too far and you want it more chunky feel, you can always chop up some onion and some cilantro and put that in. That's kind of the cheater's way, but that's how you get it in a lot of Mexican restaurants. So take a look at this. See how similar that looks to the one that's in the molcajete. And now it's time for dinner. Okay, so this is the final product of, this is the salsa de molcajeteada, and this is the one that we did in the blender. You'll see they look very similar. The one in the molcajete may have a little bit more earthy taste, but both of them are delicious. So that's it for the salsa. We'll see you on the next video. Wow, can you believe how delicious that salsa was? Really delicious. I encourage you to make it. It's delicious and you'll be famous. So anyway, the little you know of me, you know that I love children. So I'd like to put a spotlight on Nevada. If you live in Nevada and you're interested in adoption or foster care, they have a really wonderful site. You can visit, just Google Nevada Adoption Services, and the site will be the first one, the state site. But they have a really cool poem on the first page of their site that I encourage you to watch, to take a look at. Even if you're not interested, it's a really nice poem about children that I think you'll enjoy. They have tons, like all the states, they have so many children that are available for adoption. They're legally free and waiting for their forever family to find them. So if you're looking for a child to take into your home and you live in Nevada, check that one out. They have children from infants all the way to teenagers and everybody in between. Girls, boys, all different races, all different situations. So check it out. And in the meantime, make that salsa. It's delicious. And let me know how it goes. I would love to know your successes if you have any questions. So in the meantime, please subscribe to this channel and be sure to ring the bell, because that's how you'll be notified each time we put up a new video. Okay, stay well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.